I'm usually the type to feel a lot of sympathy for older people in general, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do as well. But in this case, however, you'll be far beyond angry for what this woman did. So before I really get started, I'm gonna give you a quick snippet of what really happened. A 69-year-old woman shot her son, who is 42 years old, at the back of his head. Then she built a fake wall in her house to hide his body in a wooden box. And then she went to Home Depot to buy sand and straw to cover him up. Weeks later, after his death, she started pretending to be him. She did things like forging letters, text, and she even took his phone to Florida so that the signal can just ping when everything is being checked, so that people can really think he is him and not her, which is pretty clever. Fortunately though, now she's serving life imprisonment. So real quick, I'm gonna play you a clip of what I found about what actually happened. So this is it.
Jerri Lynn Roby pleading guilty to first-degree murder today. The 69-year-old killed her son, John Gaither, in December of 2023. Gaither was reported missing by family in California. Roby lied to police, telling investigators she hadn't seen her son since he took an Uber to Louisiana.
Now that I have given you the little gist of the story, I'm just going to tell you what really happened and the backstories and all of the... All right, let's get it. So in December 2023, John's brother, John is the son that was killed. He basically called the police because he hasn't heard from him in ages, which is smart, of course, because I'm guessing John is not usually the type to just go missing randomly. But then John's mom, Jerri, trying to, cover her tracks, she basically lied and said he took an Uber out of the state to buy a car. And in my opinion, that sounds like a very, very smart cover-up, but it is absolutely insane and not very smart in particular though. Simply because the police checked John's Uber account and they didn't see any activity there or even any matching trip. So our story is starting to fall apart a little bit there. And then something else happened. So John's stepmother, she called the police saying that she got a letter from John, and John was basically saying he's going to Philippines to meet a woman or something like that. It is just like John's mother, Jerri, she literally crafted this whole plan. It is just diabolical. What kind of a mother would do that to her own son? I'm just still questioning the reason why she would decide to do all of this nonsense. At what cost? Killing your own son? That just is sad and crazy. Now, here is a little background on who Jerri actually is. So apparently she has been living under multiple aliases over the years. And also in 1995, she was convicted of manslaughter in Florida. She shot a woman at the back of her head and then she put her in our car for multiple days before she got caught. So really, this is not actually a new thing to her. So she is kind of like a serial killer at this point then, because I'm even not just that, I'm thinking most serial killers, they won't target their own family and they will do whatever it takes at all costs to protect their family. And apart from that, why would they rule that as manslaughter, her shooting a woman at the back of her head? That doesn't sound like manslaughter to me. I don't think she should have ever been released to the society, because if she wasn't released, her son will still be alive, in my opinion. What I also realized is that police searched her property, but she gave them permission to, and they found a receipt from a week before John went missing. It is like a receipt of things that she bought and all of that. They saw things like, I'm gonna list them out to you here. So things like 15 cents of bag, straw, patch, and seal tape, and also a dumpster bag. And also she earlier made a trip for plastic sheets and soil. So now she's going whole Dexter crazy, but not in the smartest way possible. I'm sure all serial killers do whatever it takes to cover their tracks, but she doesn't seem to be bothered. And she's doing that Dexter shit right here. This is something Dexter would have done. But to their own family though, she's not following the Dexter code. I'm not saying anybody should be like Dexter, but I just like the TV show Dexter. But this is just insanity, bro. She's terrifying. In early 2024, John's family started receiving calls, texts, letters that are supposedly from John. However, his family knows that, nah, this is not how John does stuff. So they don't believe that it was John. Turns out it was Jerri all along sending all of this BS stuff, forging letters, all of this kind of, and even pretending to be him by texting. It's just crazy, bro. And the funniest part, like I said earlier, is she would go to Florida so that when the tower pinged, they would think John is in Florida and it is not even her at all. So pretty clever, but that is a maniacal plan. And apparently she even got her boyfriend, who is 86 years old, to get on call with John's family, pretending to be John, but they ain't buying all that bullshit, of course. And it is just diabolical, bro. And I am also sure that the husband must be in on this crazy plan. I'm just guessing, but I'm not really sure of that though. So then I'm guessing the family started getting very, very bothered and worried, and police basically executed a search warrant. When they went inside the house, they find a fake wall, and behind that wall, they find a wooden box. Inside that box, it was John's body covered up in sand and straw. I'm guessing Jerri doesn't want the body to be smelling the whole house out, which is crazy. And the police also saw that John had been shot at the back of his head. Anyways, I'm going to show you a quick clip on the court on how they actually find the body in the, house. So this is it.
They breached that wall at the front of the house, and inside the front area of the house was a box, and inside that box was the body of John Gaither.
Roby admitted to shooting her son in the back of the head.
Honestly, though, I still don't understand how someone can live with a dead body inside their house. Like, not just that, it is a dead son. The thought of just looking at a dead body terrifies me alone. But having it to live inside your house is just fucking terrifying. Some psycho shit right there. Only psychopaths can do that. I don't believe a normal human being would even be okay just watching a dead body, bro. Like, it is fucking scary. It is terrifying. Now, I'm going to give you a quick story on how Jerri tries to escape the police. So basically, she took a lot of prescription pills, willing to basically kill herself, and she thinks that will basically kill her. But she was taken to the hospital and she later recovered, and then she was interviewed by the police. So this is how what psychopaths do, in my opinion. Or not just that, serial killers. This is just a cycle. They will rather kill themselves than to be get caught. Kill, never get caught. So later on, Jerri actually admitted to everything, like the letters, texts, and all of those nonsense. She admitted to it. But what was the explanation for how John got shot at the back of the head? She basically said John shot himself at the back of the head and fell into the wooden box. Then she just did it by wrapping him up and all of that, which is absolutely a diabolical and insane lie. How is that even fucking possible? Like, how can someone shoot themselves at the back of the head? It is rather inconvenient. If someone is gonna kill themselves, probably to the side or at least to the front. Even to the front is mostly to the side. So it is just fucking lie. Like, she doesn't even know how to lie properly. But it is how what serial killers do. They will rather lie even when the evidence is literally obvious. It is just fucking terrifying and insane. Like, it doesn't make fucking sense. So here's a quick quote from Jerri on how John shot himself. She said, "Gaither shot himself in the back of the head, fell into the box." Okay, that is an utter lie because it is impossible. Why would you shoot yourself and fall in the fucking box? If you're gonna shoot yourself, you probably just fall on the floor, motherfucker. Funny enough though, at the sentencing, she actually changes her story a little bit. She said she shot him in the spur of the moment, and that is a literal quote from her, to put him out of his misery because he suffered from some sort of depression. Whoa. Very motherly of her. Even if he did suffer from depression, why on earth does she think the best solution is to kill him? It doesn't make sense. She could just have gotten him the help that he needed rather than fucking shooting him. Like, it's just fucking lies. It doesn't make fucking sense. Like, Even, let's say it did suffer from depression. Why would she want to kill her own son? Does she not feel guilt? That definitely means she is a serial killer and she's a psychopath. Anyways, the judge did not believe her BS. She literally pointed out the fact that she went to Home Depot to buy the model weapon before she actually did the deed. So it doesn't even make sense, and which adds up because she carefully crafted this whole thing. And matter of fact, I actually didn't acknowledge that detail that she did it before everything actually went down. So it is just fucking maniacal, planning to kill her own son. On what level? On what circumstance? On what fucking reason? I'm just so fucking tired of this. So Jerri eventually pleaded guilty to murder in July 22, 2025, and she was sentenced to life in prison. Also, her boyfriend was arrested because of, his plan and the whole thing and what he did, which rather fits because I'm guessing he must have known a little bit of something or something with what happened.